What is the latest as these votes are, these final votes here come in?
Yeah, still counting and still giving results I think the Biden campaign is pretty happy with. Let's start with the popular vote. Obviously, the U.S. election isn't decided by the popular vote, but Joe Biden now over 5.1 million votes ahead of Donald Trump. Aaron, to give you some kind of context here, that is larger than President Obama's 2012 margin over Mitt Romney, one of the largest margins in about 20 years. That's where it currently stands on the popular vote. As to the states themselves, well, you mentioned Pennsylvania. Obviously, that has already been called for Joe Biden, and that lead is only growing. Now it sits at about 51,400 votes, and the expectation is, given where the vote is outstanding and what should be coming in over the course of the next couple of days, that lead will grow. For context there, well, in 2016, President Trump won this state by 44,000 votes. Joe Biden already 6,000 votes ahead of that, and that's expected to grow. Now, you mentioned Georgia. Obviously, Georgia is headed into a recount. We'll be starting soon. Joe Biden's lead, though, has only served to grow over the course of the last couple of days, 14,000 votes. And a 14,000 vote lead heading into a recount, well, that's a pretty comfortable margin. Recounts at most traditionally over the course of history maybe flip a couple hundred votes here and there. They certainly don't flip 14,000 votes. I think the one everybody's got very close eyes on right now, Aaron, it's the state of Arizona. And the reason why is President Trump has been steadily catching up over the course of the last couple of days. Right now, Joe Biden's margin is about 12,800 votes. And the reality is, when you look at the numbers, it's about 40,000 votes outstanding, give or take a couple thousand because of provisionals being counted. If you're the Biden campaign, you're looking at this right now, you're looking at what's outstanding, and you're feeling very, very comfortable. Essentially, Donald Trump would have to win somewhere between 66 to 67% of the outstanding vote. And a lot of that outstanding vote is coming from Democratic strongholds like Pima County, areas that you see blue here. So the Biden campaign right now, very much so on track for the potential of 306 electoral votes, Aaron.
Right. So all of a sudden you're looking at a margin then of 5+ million of the popular, 306 electoral votes. Yeah. That is what people would call, in the parlance of this country, a mandate. That is what has happened, right? It just took longer to get there. Let me ask you, though, about Alaska. We called Alaska today for President Trump. His daughter, Ivanka, went on Twitter and she celebrated it, saying President Trump and Senate Republicans win Alaska overwhelmingly and by a massive 20-point spread, put Alaska in the books for Trump. She was retweeting the Associated Press, Phil, which called the entire race for Biden. So basically, when Trump wins something, they are quick to jump on. Look, the media makes the call, but when Biden wins, they say it's fake news. The media is making it up.
Yeah, it's a good window into the complete lack of consistency going on here, including said stop the count when it came to Pennsylvania, but continue the count when it came to Arizona. Look, you take a look at Alaska, it gives you an insight into how these decisions are actually made. By our decision desk, very talented people, very smart people. There's only 71% reporting right now, but our decision desk takes a look at the outstanding votes, takes a look at where things stand and where that vote's going to be coming from, and they make the decision that there is no way Joe Biden can catch up. It's the same reason that up to this point, Arizona, even though Joe Biden has a pretty comfortable margin, or Georgia, where he has an even more comfortable margin, hasn't been counted yet. Still trying to get an understanding of the universe of outstanding votes and when they may be coming in. Look, people can criticize however they want to. People can be inconsistent however they want to, as clearly the Trump administration and their allies have been on these issues specifically. But our decision desks and the people who go through this spend a lot of time and are very, very careful. And their end game doesn't change the fact that right now, Joe Biden is on path to 306 electoral votes, Aaron.